Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. So we'll be having the Bhagavad-gītā class now. The curtain will close at 6:30 and it will open again at 7. So if you can, then please stay tuned. We'll start off with the Jai Radha Madhav. If I can get your full attention, then that would be very kind and very nice as we commence the Bhagavad-gītā class. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Let's try that again. Is everyone paying attention? Hare Krishna. Wonderful. So we'll start off with the Jai Radha Madhav. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, sing along. Please sing along. Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Jaya Shila Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol. Shishi Radha Gokulananda ki, Shishi Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shishi Gauranitai ki. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here at Bhaktivedanta Manadam. If it's just a humble request, if everyone can just come a little bit closer, don't worry, so then more people can come. It's going to get packed up. Thank you so much. So today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 8, verse 25. But before we begin, I'll start off with some prayers. So if you can just follow along, and if you don't know, then no worries. It is said that these invocations, just simply by hearing them, by meditating on them, by hearing the mantra, it brings and it creates auspiciousness, especially in the beginning of a class. So if you can just all try and chant along, or just listen and just connect to Krishna, and then we'll start. Om Jnanatimandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashachade Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat along. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time, let's raise our hands together and chant one more time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you all so much for being here today. These Bhagavad-gītā classes are so important because it's an opportunity for our consciousness to be cleansed. And first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's here and everyone that's watching online. I beg for your prayers and your blessings. Sometimes giving these classes can be so nerve-wracking for the ego, but it's also a purification. It's an opportunity for us to repeat what we've heard, to share what we're reflecting according to Shastra, Sadhu and Guru. So hopefully I can do and I can be of some service. Today we were on Sankirtan, so my mind was really busy on the streets, but hopefully it's a little bit more slowed down now and I can share something resourceful, something beneficial. So thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna. So today we're reading from the Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 8, entitled Attaining the Supreme, verse 25. The prayer, the shlokas, they're on the screen. And so if you can repeat along, it's a little bit small. I'm not sure if the controller is just... Thank you so much. So if you can repeat along, that would be wonderful. And then we'll do the transliteration and translation. Srila Prabhupada wanted these classes to be active, to be proactive, so then therefore we're able to really learn, and therefore we're able to connect and relate with the Gita. So starting off. Dumo ratris tata Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. Please repeat along. You don't have to be a Sanskrit scholar. You don't have to know it perfectly, but it helps. Just try your best to repeat whatever you can. So we'll try again, just bit by bit, please. Dumo Ratris Tata Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. One more time. Dumo Ratris Tata Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti Yogi Prapya Nivatate. So now if you can just repeat the transliteration. So beginning off with Duma, just repeat after me. Duma, smoke. Ratri, night. Tata, also. Krishna, Krishnaha, the fortnight of the dark moon. Shatmasa, the 6th month. Dakshina Ayanam, when the sun passes on the southern side. Tatra, there. Chandramasam, the moon planet. Jyoti, the light. Yogi, the mystic. Prapya, achieving. Nivartate, comes back. Translation. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the forenight of the waning moon, or the 6th month when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. In the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to the moon at death. These elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigods' calculation and enjoy life by drinking soma ras. They eventually return to the earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a very interesting verse, and it's a very interesting part of the Bhagavad-gītā. Today we were out on book distribution, and it's interesting because many of the what Krishna reveals to us in this part of the Bhagavad-gītā is that we should not give up our loudest desires for our deepest desires. It's interesting because many people, what they do is that they aim for heaven. They aspire for heaven. But what Krishna reveals to us through the Bhagavad-gītā is that even heaven is within the material creation. So therefore, even if there are some sense of enjoyment, there are some sense of happiness, joy, bliss, whatever it is that you are experiencing in heaven, it is still within the framework of material creation. Now, one may think that, 10,000 years is a long time. But in proportion to human life, and that's one thing that it can seem and it can feel very minute. So, imagine being in heaven. A place where there is no suffering, extraordinary pleasures, beautiful surroundings, long life, greater power, anything. Most of us would say yes to that. Most of us may have even come from a background where we were practicing other faiths, other traditions. And so therefore, for many of us, that may have actually been the aspiration that one day we want to go to heaven. But the reality is that Krishna actually tells us something very important about this. Something that many of us may have not come across before we have been exposed to Krishna consciousness. And so that is today a journey that I want to take each and every one of you. So please, if I could just kind of really hold on to your attention for the next half an hour to 45 minutes, and then I'll try and create some time for some questions that you may have, and that would be really wonderful. And then after that we'll have beautiful Guru Arati. So repeating the verse again, Dumo Ratris Tata Krishna, Shanmasa Dakshinayanam, Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti, Yogi Prapya Nivatate. So the first and foremost important thing that really comes to mind when this verse shows up is Nivartate. The word Nivartate means that he comes back, or one comes back to this material world. And so therefore what it is that when we're in this world, there are some obstacles. And those obstacles, for instance, smoke. What does smoke do? Smoke doesn't diminish fire, smoke covers. And so therefore, when we're in this world, what happens is our consciousness becomes covered. Our consciousness becomes covered by so many variety of conditionings. Our attachment, our ego, so many variety of things. Not only that, in this world, in Shastra, it is explained, it is described that even though that there is the Maha Mantra, it's also an age of spiritual darkness, you can say. There's so much declination. There isn't so much interest that people have in spirituality. And as a result of it, you see that there are so many activities and things that goes on, which is against the nature of who we are. So these are some few examples. So these are meant to represent temporary results within the material world. And so therefore, essentially what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad-gītā is that you can go up to heaven, you can be in heaven, but eventually you will have to come down. You can go to a higher planet. You can rise to a higher realms. You can have heavenly enjoyments. But eventually what happens is that your punya runs out. And when your punya runs out, being in this material world, it can be very difficult to remember Krishna. You see, there are so many various of degree of awareness. You know, we have the senses, then we have the mind, then we have the intelligence, then we have the soul. So therefore what happens is that our awareness becomes covered. And as a result of it, we forget about Krishna. And as a result of it, we think that we're disconnected from Krishna. And as a result of it, what does that then cause? It causes us to look for short-term sense gratification, short-term enjoyment, short-term happiness. But you see, when we pursue for short-term happiness, it creates long-term regret. It creates a long-term effect where we become less and less and less feeling connected to Krishna. So Krishna is warning us that even if we do goodness in this world and we attain the heavenly planets, in the heavenly planets what happens is that we may be enjoying, but as a process of enjoying we may just forget Him. We may forget where is our source of strength coming from? Where is our source of power coming from? Where is our life, our duration coming from? And ultimately all this comes from Him. And so in Bhagavad-gītā, this entire material world is described as a Ferris wheel. How many of you have been in a Ferris wheel? Some of you, the kids. It's described as Ferris wheel. And what does that mean? It means that when we're in this earth, and as we go up to the heavenly planets, eventually we have to come down. And then the sad reality is that what does this create? This creates a cycle. It creates a samsara, where we're taking repeated birth again and again and again. And here's something really, really important that I want to share with you. What is important that I want to share with you is that sometimes we're not even aware of our suffering.
Sometimes we're not even aware of our condition in this material world. We're not even aware that what we consider to be so-called happiness and bliss is actually creating a deep struggle. Rupa Goswami, in his book Bhakti Rasimrita Sindhu, he mentions something very, very powerful and very important, which is habits. We all struggle with different habits. We all struggle with different sort of addiction. All of us do. You know, to some degree, it may be higher. To other degrees, it may be lower. Would you like to know how the whole kind of system and process of habits is created and how to come out of that? Would you like to know that? Only some of you? Let's get a little bit more participation going on. Some of you? No? You don't want to know? Would you like to know how to overcome habits? Good. So what Rupa Goswami actually mentions is that all form of addictions, all form of our bad habits, the things that keeps us entangled in this material world, in this creation, is something called avidya. So avidya means ignorance. It's interesting because even when we think we're experiencing happiness, like someone may smoke, someone may drink, and they may think that that is happiness. But actually that is a form of ignorance. And the problem is that with ignorance, sometimes they say ignorance is bliss. We don't understand how much it's actually leaving a very deep impression on us that makes us divert our attention from Krishna. Where we then, what it is that we aspire for something other than Krishna. So avidya, what avidya does is that avidya creates a seed of desire in our heart. It creates this propensity, this inclination, this desire to commit sinful activities or any activities that is not in relation to Krishna. So you have ignorance, and when you have ignorance, then this ignorance creates a seed of desire. And then when you have this seed of desire, what do you then do? You act upon that desire. That's why most of us, we don't have inclination for spirituality. We don't have an inclination to hear. We don't have an inclination to work with Krishna. And it's not because we don't want to work with Krishna, but a question that each and every one of us could be asking is that, what type of environment am I surrounding myself in? And as a result of it, what type of consciousness is that developing? Then that creates the propensity for me to act. I hope that is clear. And because what happens is that then when we actually act upon these sinful acts, then we get karma. And there's two types of karma. There's manifest karma, and manifest karma means that the karma that we're already sort of paying up right now. So you see the type of body that we have, the side of outcome that we produce, all these things, it produces karma. So on one side we have manifest karma, karma that is available and that is happening right now. But then also on the other hand, we have a bank of karma that is still waiting for us. And what happens is that then this becomes a cycle. We go round and round and round, as I was mentioning, the Ferris wheel. And so therefore the way to actually prevent this, because they say that prevention is far greater than the cure. So the way that we prevent this is through vidya, through knowledge. Therefore, that is why Srila Prabhupada really emphasized a lot. Shishi Radha Gokulananda ki, Shishi Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shishi Gauranitai ki. Therefore, that is why Srila Prabhupada emphasized a lot the process of sadhana bhakti. The process of shravanam, kirtanam, smaranam. Sometimes people say, I struggle to pay attention. I struggle to sit through class. I'd rather go out and do many different things. But you see, with anything requires discipline. With anything, you're not going to just immediately have a taste for anything. It requires discipline. It requires consistency. Because what happens is that even within bhakti, there is something called karma mishra bhakti. Have you ever heard that? It means that what it is that if we're not mindful And if we're not careful, even though the goal may be Krishna, we may actually become attracted to anything and everything beside Krishna. Because that's what temptation is. Temptation is that in the process of bhakti, you're going to experience side result. But if you pay attention to that side result, then you actually forget about the purpose of why you're practicing bhakti. So therefore, that is why vidya, knowledge, is very, very important. Because knowledge can help us to understand what is the goal. Knowledge can help us to understand what is the purpose of my practice. Where is it that I'm going with this? Without knowledge, then we remain in ignorance. And so therefore, the way to kind of develop this vidya is through sadhu sangha, is through association, through chanting. Srila Prabhupada calls this the principle of freedom. Sometimes people say that this is very hard, but it's actually the principle of freedom, because what it is that this process then creates about real freedom in which we can then be with Krishna. Is that clear? Wonderful. But what it is that, you see, Srila Prabhupada sometimes emphasized that the process works. But the problem is that often when we don't experience the result, the blissful result of Krishna consciousness, we blame it on the process. How many of you thought like that? That I've been practicing, I've been coming to the temple, I chant, I read, I hear, I take darshan, but still I don't experience anything. And as a result of it, you know, you may pray to different demigods. As a result of it, you may look for other kind of ways of being able to experience that bliss. But you see, the problem is not that the process doesn't work. The problem is that we're not convinced of the process. When we become convinced of the process, you see, if for instance, you know, there's always that analogy and that example that if you see that your loved one is struggling to swim and they may be drowning, even if you don't know how to swim, you'll still jump and you'll try to rescue them because there is that conviction. When you don't have conviction, then what happens is that you may lose enthusiasm, you may lose motivation, you may lose inspiration. So conviction is important. Conviction alongside with faith, with genuine faith. And so therefore, Srila Prabhupada, you know, it's really, really amazing because even though that there may be so many processes, sometimes people ask, why does it have to be specifically bhakti? Why bhakti? There are so many religions, so many faiths, so many processes, so many paths that I could take. Why specifically what it is that you're practicing or, you know, what you're following? And the thing is, the truth is that our destination is determined and it is carved by our consciousness. Where we're going to in our next life very much depends on what consciousness that we mold and we carve in this lifetime. And there is there's something so attractive about bhakti, beginning with the depth of the philosophy. You see, in order for us to become attracted to any process, for us to become attracted to for us to develop conviction, we need to understand the depth of that philosophy. And out of so many theology that there may be in the world, there is no such as a theology as the Vedas, as Krishna consciousness that reveals so much about the nature of God. That's why most people lose their faith in Krishna, because they don't have the full depth, the full understanding, the full sweetness. Many people fear God, and as a result of that fear then creates and carves a different type of destination. But actually, Krishna is considered as Madhurya. There's a sweetness. And when you understand that the sweetness of Krishna, then what it is that then you want to find out more. You want to develop a deeper relationship, a deeper connection, a deeper friendship. Each and every one of us, what are we all yearning for ultimately? We're yearning for a friendship, a friend in this world, aren't we? When you go to school, you want to have friends with you want to develop friendship with your peers. When you're with your spouse, you want to develop a friendship with your wife or husband. Friendship is important. Many of us are struggling with loneliness. So therefore, the first thing is that the depth of the philosophy, there's such a sweetness in it. But the problem is that, you see, we want the result, but we want the result without the process. You know, we want Krishna, but we don't want to show Krishna that we want him. We just want him. So that's the first thing, that Srila Prabhupada has given us so many books. He's given us so many lectures. He's given us so much variety of resources. These resources 50 years ago, 60 years ago was not as accessible as it is now, where you can just access it through an internet, through videos, YouTube, so many ways. They say that the most dangerous thing is laziness. Laziness is the most dangerous thing. You may not have all the knowledge, you may not have certain skills and abilities, and that's okay, because you can always make up for that. But if you have laziness when it comes to developing and investing in your relationship with Krishna, then that's very serious. So that's one element of it. The other element of it is that there is not a process as beautiful as bhakti when it comes to the heart of this practice. You see, the heart of this practice is that Krishna is so amazing. Srila Prabhupada is so amazing. Because what do they tell us? They tell us that you don't have to give up any of your activities. You just have to dovetail it to Krishna. Some of us, we may love talking. But then talking becomes the result of gossip. Talking becomes the result of argument, debate, dispute, disagreement, and then this becomes into a clash. But what Krishna is saying is that what the Bhagavad-gītā says is that you can transform your speech into service by speaking about Krishna, by meditating about Krishna. It is said that not everything that matters can be counted, and not everything that can be counted matters. So sometimes what it is that we invest so much energy, time into the things that we think is so important, but then later on in our life, those turn out to be the most insignificant thing that actually creates an opposite effect. But simultaneously, this very thing that has been given to us, we can use it in the service of Krishna to purify our consciousness, to deepen our relationship with Krishna, and to ultimately attain the abode of the Lord. So you can transform, this is the beauty of bhakti. The beauty of bhakti is that you can transform your speech in the service of the Lord. The beauty of bhakti is that you can use your legs to go to a football match, to go to a pub, to go to many different places, to go to a restaurant, or you can use your leg to actually make your way to the temple, to make your way to a sangha, to make your way to a place where Krishna is being glorified. You see, there is emptiness, there is vacuum. You may be listening to me right now, you may be saying that, yeah, it's all nice, it's all well, but I'm still attached to the things that I love doing. And you may follow along that. But you see, the happiness of this world is insubstantial. And even the happiness in the spiritual world is insubstantial. Not spiritual world, in the heavenly planet is insubstantial. Not only is it insubstantial, it's temporary. Whether you're in heaven or whether you're on this earth, eventually that happiness has to run out. And then you're back to level zero. You're back to, the samsara. So therefore, what it is that the beauty of bhakti is that you can use your leg, you can use your speech, you can even use your cooking. Everything can be service. That's beautiful. It's all about individuality. It's not about giving you up your individuality. It's about transforming whatever you love for the service of the Lord. And not only that, the impact. The Bhagavad-gītā is considered to be one of the oldest scripture. And not only the oldest scripture, but the scripture that has been read by so many different variety of people. And as a result of it, it has had an impact in their lives. When Srila Prabhupada came to America, he started teaching and sharing the teachings of the Bhagavad-gītā to the hippies. We just went out on book distribution today. You see all these people that drink a lot, smoke a lot. They're very clueless about their purpose. They're very clueless as to where they're going. Their entire motivation is live for the moment. That's the sad reality. When you don't know where you're going, then you don't want to focus on anything other than your enjoyment in the moment. And that only just creates more depression. It creates more suffering, more pain. But Prabhupada, when he went to America and he started sharing these teachings of the Bhagavad-gītā, he did the most miraculous thing you can say. He managed to transform all of these people that were lost, confused, and bewildered into devotees of Krishna. Their entire life transformed. And if there is something that they can appreciate about the scripture, what is it that we're lacking, that we're not seeing? This is the beauty of the bhakti. That it has the ability and the potential to have a deep impact in your life if you take it serious. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā, to the degree that you surrender, I will reward you accordingly. So Krishna is not preventing you. If you want to go to the heavenly planets, you can go to the heavenly planets. Krishna's not stopping you because he's given you everything already. But Krishna is just asking you, is this really what you want? You want to go to the heavenly planets and eventually forget about me? Or do you want to come to me? Which one do you want? And he's not going to force you, because bhakti is not a process of force. It's a process of free will. It's something that must come and culminate within yourself. And so this is the beauty of bhakti. It's relevant, it's timeless, and we're all given an option. But the reason why we're not able to appreciate, even though there's so much beauty in it, is because, as I was mentioning earlier on, that our consciousness is covered. Our consciousness is covered by desire, by karma, by false ego, by attachment, by all these kind of things. Srila Prabhupada often uses the analogy of a rod. When you put a rod into a cold place, then it becomes a cold rod. And when you take that same rod and you put it into a heat, it becomes a hot rod. This is association. Whether we're young, whether we're old, whoever we are, whoever we associate with, we develop that likeness of consciousness. We develop the same goal, aspiration, desires. So the beauty of it all is that each and every one of you can develop an intense desire to serve Krishna. How? Through who you associate with. You can develop a deep desire for the ultimate goal on the basis of who you associate with. If you associate with the wrong people, then you're going to have the wrong desires. Now, that's not to say that we should also be selfish, because our process ultimately is not just a process of looking out for ourselves. It's also a process, Krishna consciousness is about having a sympathy and empathy for the suffering of others. But what it is that we can only look out for others when we nourish ourselves. When we feel nourished, then we can help others to also become nourished. And that is why association is very important. When we have the right association, then our vision is no longer covered. The essence of Krishna consciousness is that ultimately the way that we can develop this lobha, this greed for Krishna, is actually through remembrance of the Lord. When the more we're able to remember the Lord, then the more we can develop eagerness and hunger for Krishna consciousness. One disciple once went to Srila Prabhupada and said to Srila Prabhupada, sometimes I forget about Krishna. And then Prabhupada said, nah, you're always forgetting about Krishna. Sometimes you remember Krishna. So this is the reality. The reality is that the problem is that when we come into Krishna consciousness, or not even when we're Krishna consciousness, at some point we think that we're more advanced than when we really are. We think we know more. And they say that humility is the mother of all good qualities. When we have humility, then we're really able to learn. When we have humility, then we're really able to become sincere devotees of Krishna. Because at our stage, we're not even devotees, we're just sadhakas. We're just practicing. We're just aspiring to be devotees. To be a devotee of Krishna is not a very cheap, it's not a very easy thing. But what it is that we can get there. And humility is the key ingredient. Because through humility, then we can unlearn everything that we may have learned about Krishna consciousness, and then we can really learn what Krishna consciousness is about. And then our consciousness does not have to be covered by darkness. Is this all clear so far? So I'll just kind of move a little bit forward, and then I'll use some examples and analogies. Like on one hand, we've got King Indra. King Indra, he had everything. He had power, he had authority, he had opulence. But what happened to him? He became proud. You see, sometimes we become so proud of our facilities, our abilities, and our resources. We become so proud of our youth. But will your youth last forever? No. We become so proud of our skills, but will you always have that skills? No. So therefore, what it is that our gifts is from Krishna. And either we use those gifts to repay Krishna, to express our gratitude to Krishna, or eventually we lose it. So Krishna gives us gift in order for us to be able to gift him back. In this case, King Indra, he became so proud. And then when his worship was stopped, he was ready to drown the residents of Vrindavan. And Krishna stopped him. Not only did Krishna stop him, but then Krishna humbled him. Krishna humbled him that your position does not make you independent of me. Because ultimately you're getting your ability, your facility, your resources, everything from me. And either I can stop it or I can allow you to carry on. So let us always remember that. Let us remember that whatever we have and whatever position and status that we're in life, ultimately it all comes from Krishna. And the moment that we become proud, then what happens is that we may become humbled. So it said here that if you're not perfect, be humble. And if you're humble, then you'll be perfect. So we've got 10 more minutes. I think I've shared quite a lot. But ultimately, I want you to know that promotion does not mean elevation. Just because you may be promoted to the heavenly planets, it doesn't mean that you're elevating to Krishna. Because as you're promoted, then you can lose that promotion and you can fall back again. So ultimately, our destination, our aspiration is not to go to heaven, but rather is to actually have this eagerness, this desire to serve Krishna. When we have this eagerness and this desire to serve Krishna, because that's what the spiritual world is about. The spiritual world is not a place of just our enjoyment. We experience the highest bliss through service. And you can experience that even here. And when we do so, then what it is that then we feel this deep intimacy, this deep connection, this deep appreciation and love with Krishna. So we've got 10 minutes. I want to just kind of leave some time for, well, I've got so many more slides I prepared, but really they say that the real learning happens during the Q&A. So I'll leave some time for questions if any of you have questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll just say I don't know the answer. Better that we acknowledge where we are than to speak beyond our realization. So does anyone have any question? Or any reflection? I learned from my mentor, even if you don't have a question, what is it that you recall? What is it that you relish? And how do you feel it is relevant for you? Because in that way, then you leave this temple room and you leave the temple feeling like, okay, today I've learned something and I want to apply it in my life. So even if you don't have a question, do you have something that you personally connected with? Hare Krishna.
Can you just simplify the definition of karma?
So thank you so much for asking that question. The reality is that in this material world, none of us are exempt from karma. Karma in one definition can be activities. When we do any form of activities, whether it's bad activities, then we get bad outcome, or whether it's good activity, we get good outcome. There's karma, akarma, and vikarma. But what it is that when we do activities for Krishna, then we don't accumulate any more karma. Then what happens is that then that becomes a spiritual activity. So the problem is that in this world, nowadays you have all these kind of processes, and believe me, I want to really warn the younger generations also of this. We have these kind of meditations that sometimes goes on called vipassana. We have all these kind of philosophies where people are artificially trying to stop themselves from thinking. They're artificially trying to stop themselves from performing any activity. But what happens is that you cannot stop thinking. You cannot, Krishna says clearly in the Bhagavad-gītā that the nature of the soul is to be active. You have to be active. You have to perform. You're either performing for Krishna or you're performing for Maya. You're performing for the illusory energy or for the internal potency of the Lord. So karma is activities. We perform so many variety of activities that keeps us stuck in this cycle of birth and death. And what it is that we want to end that. So we end that by performing spiritual activities. That means all of your activities, if you dedicate it and center it around Krishna, then you no longer accumulate good karma or bad karma. Good karma elevates you to the heavenly planets. Bad karma may mean that you may attain a body of a hog or something else. And so therefore you're stuck. So therefore we have to perform. But my message to each and every one of you is perform for Krishna. Absorb your consciousness of Krishna. Always think of Krishna. Become his devotee. That should be your aspiration. And when you can do that, then you're no longer stuck in that cycle. Hope that helps. Hare Krishna. Any more questions? Why do we do chanting? Wonderful question. So the word mantra, man means the mind, tra means to free. Our mind is constantly absorbed in so much of me, mine, and I. So much stress, so much anxiety, so much worry, so much I have today, so much more I want tomorrow. If anyone gets in my way, I have to block them. This is the mentality. Most of us, we have demoniac mentality. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, because it's the reality that when we come into this material world, we come into contact with all the gunas, mode of ignorance, tamas, rajas, sattva. But most of us, what it is that we're constantly attracted to the things that degrades our consciousness. Your mind can be your best friend or it could be your worst enemy. It can elevate you or degrade you. So the idea of mantra is that what it is on one hand, we're focusing our consciousness on Krishna. On the other hand, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra simply means, please Krishna, engage me in your service. So when we chant, we're asking for more service. We're asking for the opportunity to be selfless. We're asking for the opportunity, Krishna, let me not make this about me, but let me make it about you. Most of our suffering comes from selfishness. It comes from, I want this for me, I want this for my children, I want this because how it makes me feel. So we chant because we want to free the mind from all that. You can't control the outcome of life, but you can control your perception. You can control how you digest, how you internalize. Mantra is there to help you to connect with Krishna. It's there to purify the consciousness. Just like you take bath, you take shower. So therefore mantra is there to shower the consciousness, to shower the mind. So then therefore you can see purely who you are. And we're here to serve. We're servants. You see, when people are so against service, what do? They get themselves cats and dogs. That's what they do. Or they get cats or dogs, or they become servants of drugs. They become servants of alcohol. So therefore, we want you to avoid this. You're here at the temple. You have this human birth of life. You have this opportunity. Don't waste it. Because Krishna knows if you're going to get it anytime soon. So chant. So I would say that, if you have any more questions, you can ask me later. But let us just chant one more time before the curtain opens. Let us chant with our heart. Let us chant for service. And let us chant. The best prayer that you can make is, Krishna, I don't know how to pray to you. I don't even know what to pray for. But please help me to pray properly. Please help me, teach me how to pray. Because I don't know. Whenever I come in front of you, I pray for so many things. But Krishna, please, for once in this life, in this lifetime, please show me how it is I can pray to you and show me what it is that I should pray for you. Can we all do that right now? So let that be the prayer in our heart, just for now. Later on, you can pray for whatever else you want. That's up to you. But while we're here, when the curtain opens, and even before the curtain opens, let us make this one prayer. That's my humble request. Can we do that? Okay, so we're going to chant and pray for that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I wasn't convinced of that. Even after that, desperate plea, I only got half of the room to chant. Let's do that one more time. This is your opportunity to connect with Krishna. It's not about me. So let's pray. Let's pray one more time. Raise your hands and chant as loud as possible. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. Okay, let's do it properly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Dear Krishna, I don't know what I want. I don't know what is good for me. I don't know where I'm going in my life. But as long as I remain in your lotus feet, chanting your name, serving your devotees, serving your temple, your mandir, and just always trying my sincere best, I always have faith that you will guide me in the right place with the right people, right situation, right circumstance, even if I'm not aware of what's going on. So let us make that type of prayers, and you'll see the magic that happens in your life. Thank you all so much. And yeah, so the curtains will open in a few minutes, and then we can continue with that meditation. And if you have any more questions, I'll be around, and you can always feel free to approach me and ask. Okay? Hare Krishna. Antara Srimad Bhagavad-gītā ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Guru Pramanande.